Folks, like I mentioned earlier, we were talking about ChatGPT. You had a stream about it earlier. I was telling I was telling Max here that I actually use ChatGPT to help me create a brand new indicator for TradingView. And now this is the first time I will ever publicly be showing this indicator. It's nothing too crazy, but it is helpful, and I do plan on building it out more and fleshing out the idea further in the future. So, folks, without further ado, I will now reveal to you my brand new custom indicator, right, which is right here, and I hope it doesn't go away. So, what this indicator is something. It essentially stems from a very simple concept, but I think if you start to consider a couple things and in a couple ways in which this can be used, I think it starts to be pretty powerful. And so what this is fundamentally simple. I created an indicator that measures the divergence away from the 50-day simple moving average. So what this is essentially a less than arbitrary meme. You know how there's that concept out there, how there's always the reversion to the meme kind of thing?
Yes.
So, markets, they exist in extremes. They always oscillate from overbought to oversold. Then they kind of revert back to the meme or the mean, or kind of what the market considers its true value at any one given moment. Now, one indicator that I have found to be less than arbitrary and actually extremely helpful when understanding both Bitcoin and actually Hex over the long term, one indicator that has proven itself over the long term to be uncannily useful when compared to others is the 50-day simple moving average, specifically during a period of Bitcoin's euphoric parabolic price action. The 50-day simple moving average for 2 cycles has proven itself to be extremely noteworthy for, again, 2 cycles. And that is not something to kind of scoff at. That is actually extremely relevant, because what we've seen for 2 cycles now, that during Bitcoin's parabolic price structure, we pump, we have one correction that tests the 50-day SMA and holds as support. And then we go on to pump further, have the parabola, come back down and retest it. And once we have 3 daily candles opening and closing below it, that has marked the cycle top, not just in 2021, but in 2017 as well. So for 2 cycles, this one indicator has done a pretty good job of not calling the top exactly, but roughly calling around when we had the top. And so one idea I had for kind of attempting to get closer to timing a cycle top is, okay, well, we seem to understand that as long as this moving average holds the support, at least throughout once, we test it, holds the support, continues, price action continues to diverge, we come back, we test it, and it fails. Okay, that's the end of the cycle. But can we get closer to a cycle time high? What if we start measuring the divergence away from this indicator? And that's essentially what this is here, where when we're above this mean line here, we're essentially overbought, overextended in some kind of manner, or at least that's one way to think about it. And when we're below, it's essentially some kind of way of showing that we're oversold in some kind of way. And the way I'm coming to kind of understand how to practically use this moving forward is, number one, when we reach that is divergence from the mean, in a similar way where we have in the past, where when we've diverged in a similar way, it has coincided with a local peak, then that's a sign that we are overbought or close to a cycle top. Now, let me try and rephrase that in kind of human language, in a way that a person might understand here. So taking a look at kind of this divergence here, what these 2 peaks essentially establish is a pattern here. So once we see once and twice divergence away from the mean to this extent, well, the next time we approach this area, then we're likely close to a local price action top. So as we see, we have here a defined pattern with these two peaks. So that means next time we get close, we're likely close to a local top. And wouldn't you know it, that coincided with pretty close to the cycle all-time high here. If we kind of look at another example here where we have an established peak here, an established peak here. So the next time, and again, this isn't perfect, but the next time we approach this similar area here, well, then that's probably likely close to a local price high. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly where the 69K all-time high was. Or was it? Yeah, 69K. Right about there. So again, this is a new indicator. I'm still kind of working out how to kind of use this thing myself, and I plan on changing this moving forward, perhaps like showing a gradient in color, perhaps having a signal once we spend 3 days below the mean here, and then perhaps it might be useful to compare historical peaks to kind of future peaks to kind of understand when we could be overextended. So to kind of just summarize and put all this in English, I created an indicator that measures divergence and overbought and oversold territories. That's all.
Is that, you said, for the 50-day moving average?
This is the 50-day simple moving average. Yeah, so it measures the divergence away from the 50-day SMA. And I chose that again because specifically I found for 2 cycles, I looked at a bunch of different, both simple moving averages and exponential moving averages, and the 50-day SMA did the best job 2 cycles in a row. So that's why I chose the 50-day SMA as the kind of the mean.
And you plan on open sourcing it, or are you keeping it yourself for now, or what are your plans for the new indicator?
I plan on being very selfish and keeping this to myself. In all honesty, I think I'm going to throw this in as a perk for as a course perk. I plan on launching a course sometime in the near future, and so I will be including this kind of a perk of that course. But again, I plan on flushing this out even more moving forward. Again, perhaps having gradients in color, signals when we approach historical regions, and then again, signals when we spend 3 days opening and closing below the 50-day SMA. So yeah, man, no, look, I'll be publicly talking about this on my YouTube channel, I'm sure, as well. So there will be ways to kind of check up on this. But yeah, man, I'm still personally discovering myself kind of different ways of how to use this. But I do personally think that this will be useful moving forward when kind of approximating cycle and local tops.
Wow. Yeah, good stuff, man. Like, and you said you got ChatGPT to help write this?
Yeah, I took an afternoon. It was like 4 or 5 hours, and I was just talking with ChatGPT to create this thing. Like, how wild is that?
That is like, how do you even, could you give us a taste of like how anyone would even try to do that? You just say, hey, create me an indicator on SMA 50, or how do you even say it?
So I literally started off by saying, ChatGPT, can you help me create an indicator on TradingView using Pine script? Where I wish I had the exact lettering, but it literally just said, can you create an indicator measuring divergence from the 50-day simple moving average in the form of a histogram where the overbought territory was red and the oversold territory was green, and simply just define the parameters, and it did it. It didn't do it right exactly. There was tons of compiling errors, and I had to rephrase it a bunch of times. Like I said, I spent like 4 or 5 hours doing it. But essentially, it was just a conversation for 4 hours with ChatGPT, and it spit this thing out.
That's amazing.
Now, I would go on to say, though, that I actually did try to make a more complicated version of this with ChatGPT, but it ran into a lot of problems, a lot of compiling issues. I think it runs up against a wall the more complicated the indicator gets. So I think moving forward, ChatGPT will be simply useful as a reference, as kind of like a frame to where to start off, and then I go, myself and try to research exactly how to implement it in a way that will actually compile. But it's extremely useful, nevertheless.